Hello, viewers. I'm SB, and I'm here with a question. Should we give Amabel space to introduce herself? Is she going to use that responsibly? What do you think, Ungrim Ironfist?
Begone.
Well, that's not right. Come on. You don't have an answer to my question?
No way.
I mean, the dwarf says no. I think we got to trust him. He's known Amabel for an awfully long time. And, I would say there's a pattern. There's a pattern in your behavior. Amabel.
Hi!
What's up? How are you?
And I'm Amabel.
What we discovered during the break is that when you click on him, he says no in like 17 different ways. And then I clicked on him once for cooperation with the bit, and he says be gone instead. It just ruins everything. That's going in the book. I'm also keeping a book of grudges. And right now it just says Ungrim Ironfist in big letters. So I think we're gonna hit end turn here. We have placed Azhag in ambush mode. It is possible there's a coin flip here that we will not get seen immediately.
Right.
Let's and see even if we could win this fight, and I'm not 100% sure we can. I am definitely like less interested in attacking him when he's in encampment mode. His troops are like more ready. And also, I worry that other army is like in the dark space here that we can't see. I'll feel a lot more comfortable attacking Ungrim Ironfist once Masha is far enough forward to be able to give us vision of the pass, you know?
Yeah.
So I pressed the button. Let's see what happens. Boy, I pressed that button. Here we go. It took a second. I have noticed that our vampire friends are pushing northward pretty quickly to the west of us. They finished off that faction that we were mutually at war with, which is kind of a bad thing for us, actually, because it means that the relationship bump we were getting for being at mutual war with an enemy is going to fade off. They'll remember it, but its value will decrease over time. Okay, he saw through the ambush. So he's going to come forward and attack us. We get full vision of his army, and it is mostly slayers, it turns out. This makes sense. He himself is a slayer. Ungrim Ironfist is known as the Slayer King. So his army is heavily weighted toward these like high attack, poor defense units. I do believe that they will eat us. So I'm going to retreat. Like I said, we're in a position here where our fallback is going to put us in defensive range, in reinforcement range of the city, I believe. He's going to come at us even with that being the case. Settlement garrison and everything. Let's fucking do it. And I guess this is going to determine whether or not we lose the game.
Okay.
If we hit auto-resolve, none of his units will die and all of ours will die. That's fucking miserable. So we're not going to do that. We're going to fight the battle manually.
However it turns out, better to go for it.
This is bad. This is pretty bad, Amabel, I had to say. And the thing that's really frustrating about this is he's only half of their military. So even if we win this battle, we probably still don't have the ability to just like rampage through his territory because that other army will just come home. But we probably will make a lot of money and experience if we manage to kill these guys off. So I'm glad that we went a little bit heavier on the orc biggins. They're a little bit better at dwarf fighting. We can see our reinforcement army will be entering from here. This terrain has some narrow mountainy bits that are probably pretty good for us. We have a siege weapon and they don't. So like trying to slow roll them is massively to our benefit. And if we can catch them up in the sort of tight quarters here and just catapult fire into the space, that'll be good for us. Unfortunately, trying to keep orc units solid as they are fighting dwarves and sort of hold the dwarves in place, this could be a tricky thing. Orc morale being what it is. We're going to want to make sure that we keep our lord nearby. You can see here There is an aura projected by characters that improves the leadership of units nearby. Let's go ahead and start our deployment here. So, in 2 minutes, the garrison army is going to arrive from that direction. Our plan basically just has to be to hold this stuff, right?
Yeah.
This is gonna suck. We might just be dead, Amabel. What if I lose?
I mean, you have a better chance with this terrain than you would without it, right?
That is certainly true. But that's embarrassing for me.
Let me tell you about a military
Losing
thing
like
you
that?
definitely haven't.
Okay.
Yeah, you definitely haven't heard of
Tell me.
before. So there are these 300 Spartans at Thermopylae,
Okay.
and they held this pass against this huge army. Now, they also had a few thousand other people with them that never get mentioned, but still, you got this narrow path. Like, this is advantageous terrain. It feels like.
Oh, for sure. For sure. This is hugely helpful terrain. I just I'm worried that it's not going to be enough. All right, what does the terrain look like down here? So,
Now
like grade and stuff matters a lot. We try to find a spot to put these rock lobbers that's going to give us the best shot against the incoming dwarves while also being relatively safe from like an unfortunate line breakage. You
Right.
know?
So, and the dwarves are probably going to come through those two passes.
They have no other
right?
choice.
Yeah.
Their deployment zone is over there. They're approaching from that direction.
Can you pan over to like the west side of
Here's
the
my
field?
charging troops. Here's my arrow troops. The west side of the field.
Okay, I just want to see how far along that. So that just keeps going. Okay.
Yeah, it goes all the way to the edge of the playable area.
Okay.
This battle map is divided into. They have to cross these bridges to get to us, and they have to get to us. To be clear, every battle has a 1 hour sort of like mission timer.
Uh-huh.
And it is on the attacking army to finish the job within that hour. It's no problem at all if you're actually trying, but it is the like, if you're not taking the battle seriously, you get sent home thing, you know?
Yeah.
All right, there's nothing else to do. Let's get it going. Wow, indeed. So here we go. I'm just trying to aim like vaguely center mass of their army because of the very low accuracy of the rock lobbers.
Right.
So the arrows turn red when they're no longer ready to fire. You'll see it, yep, right after they shoot. And then they get greener as the reloading process completes. I'm going to aim a little further forward here.
Are they just coming in the one and not the other?
No, you can see on the map here.
Oh, okay, I see it now. Yeah.
No, there's just a billion of them. There's just a hot billion fucking dwarf units. And they have ranged weapons, and we kind of don't, aside from the catapults. But they won't stand back and fight smart, I doubt. It's just not kind of how the dwarves do things. Especially these slayers. So I think we'll want to... We have shields. So we're taking 35% of all small arms fire and removing that from the pool. But... I mean, it's bad. It's certainly bad. The question is, do we charge the weak troops in now? Or do we try to run the big uns through in the hopes that they'll hold longer while the catapults and the poison arrows. I guess we got to try to get them to move forward close enough that the poison arrows are able to even do anything, huh? Yeah. All right, I think we're just standing. I think we're waiting. 29
Okay.
seconds until our reinforcements hit the edge of the map. Oh no, they are smart enough.
Goblins!
Well, we're getting some good rocks. But yeah, that's arrows in. I think that's got to be the charge.
Okay.
Ugh, hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. It's very bad for us. But we're going to lose troops faster than they are in this circumstance. Now, it's worth noting that they do have a couple units of quarrelers back here, but that aside, they're mostly direct fire troops. And so they're going to have a hard time shooting through their own units here. The quarrelers can shoot over, obviously. On this side, it's all direct fire troops. Now, we're not up against any particularly important or powerful kinds of dwarven units here. So that certainly helps. You know, things could be worse. I got my sort of charging troops. This is going to be meat grinder time for a little while. So I got my sort of charging troops in the back here. I'm not really sure how best to apply them.
But they're positioned kind of centrally, so they
could cut to either side suddenly if an opening occurs. All right, I'm going to start employing some magic here as well. So we're going to first of all throw one of those bound fireballs. That's something. And then you got to move up with those troops and get engaged. I'm gonna move him up the side, and we're just gonna start hacking. So remember, he's got this helm. Actually, I probably want to run through my own units here. So remember, he's got this helmet. When I click this button, all of the enemy units within 35 meters of him lose 24 points of attack and defense. That's gonna help a lot. You can see one of their units is already suffering pretty badly from first contact. We also have our reinforcements. Y'all just get down here and I will figure out what to do with you once you've formally arrived. It is worth noting that the reinforcements do have more ranged units. So actually, I might want to just, these are arrow troops. So the high ground here, we don't have... I want to take advantage of the hillside, right?
Yeah.
The game is doing, modeling of the projectiles and the arcs and everything, and it matters. The trolls probably should just get over here into the charging units. The rest of this stuff, yeah, get over. Okay. We also have magic, so we can imbue our units with the ability to cause fear and terror. I'm going to do a little bit of that. Let's murder their stats. We got people breaking and fleeing already. Alright, trying to wrap around to the sides here with the bigger units. Man. Their superior range is really going to be a problem for us. I think we probably need to turn the catapults on their ranged units, which is a shame because their ranged units are spaced out the way they are.
Yeah.
The low accuracy of the catapults is going to become a problem.
We had a great time.
Try to run all the way to the side where you can. Try to use these larger units to to get in around the edges.
Bigger. Come, boys. Smash 'em. We're the green tide.
All right, and we've generated enough kill energy for the Wog.
Moving fast.
We've also got a lot of people breaking and running. So the good news is that we're kind of like opening up. We're kind of opening up charging space on this side.
Yeah.
Good news is strong, but let's get the charging units over here, and we can start doing some real like charging into their back units here. You guys are wavering, so we're gonna give you a little bit more of that magic morale boost. I'm also going to tap their lord with a spirit leech, and then we got fireballs. I might not be able to get a clean fireball shot because I'm in melee. Yeah, that's fine. Just keep hacking. You can see these units. I'm going to have them form back up, but I'm not going to have them charge in just yet because I want to take advantage of the charging space with the trolls and stuff. Okay, the other trolls are getting down the hill. Let's have you guys join this move. We're going to need a lot of the sort of the meat troops. I guess actually let's just like divide this force roughly in half. So you guys join group 2. Really get up here. Wait, hold on. Okay, now that's fine. And then you guys are all going to run to this side instead. That's really annoying. I can't select units when they're routed, when they're broken. And so I can't...
That makes sense.
Well, it sort of makes sense, except that selecting units is not giving them orders. Sometimes you select units for the purpose of, like, changing the control groups that they're in, so that you can press different buttons on the keyboard to select them. It would be really nice for me to be able to select the units I want to select when I want to select them, you know?
I guess.
All right, I'm going to move all of my
your
archer
point.
units into position to just start opening up on those slayers. Okay. Let's see about the charging. Oh man, this Snotling charge isn't even going to complete. They're getting shredded by the ranged units so quickly. Oh, here we go. Okay, they got in.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
That's working. Jesus Christ, look at how damaged they are. They're completely shredded. That was suicide. We are also massively outnumbered by enemies in the local area here. Worth noting. We have our reinforcements coming up. The trolls are just gonna charge in here. We have these trolls that are already charged in. You guys, I don't think it's getting any better than this. Go find somebody to kill. Yep, Biggins, turn around. You lot just like fucking get in there. Azhag will hold his own in combat only so long, you know?
Yeah.
But it's true for Ungrim as well. Yeah, they just completely shredded my... I really thought those pump wagons were going to get, like, in on them. The speed with which the pump wagons fell apart surprised me quite a lot, actually.
Here we go. Slaughter.
Actually, hold on. That's not quite right. I should spread these out a little bit better. That unit of Slayers does not need this many bodies thrown at it. You guys run that way. You guys run this way. The catapults are continuing to do catapult stuff, and it's kind of working, sort of. We're running out of... starting to run a little bit low on ammunition.
There's something to be said about massing a lot of force in one place to break the enemy rather than spreading it out.
He's kind of on that side. I wonder if he can get a fireball off. Okay. I did a little something. Dwarves are naturally magic resistant. So, shooting spells at them is less effective than it would be at other people. But, you know, you shoot where you can shoot. I'm definitely not playing this ideally, by the way, just so that's clear. I think it probably is, but like I am fucking up and not. I didn't wog as quickly as I could have, and there are elements of this that are poor where we're having poor outcomes because I'm bad at game. One of the units of pump wagons recovered on the other side of the enemies. So I'm gonna.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm gonna see if we can't pump wagon around to the side here and charge these thunderers in the back. The Iron Drakes are. You know what? No, fuck the Iron Drakes. Get them.
I'm gonna kill. Death magic. Run, boys.
Yeah. Now get them. Charge. Victory is in our grasp. You know what? You know what? The dwarves are kind of falling apart. I don't think they were expecting this level of resistance. Yeah,
Well,
they're
good terrain and a charge from the rear can certainly.
They're just kind of gassed. I think they're just tired. It's been a long fight, and somehow there's always more orc. See if we can get another fireball off here. Okay, probably a little friendly fire on that one. I'm gonna pull Azhag back and go after their lord. Yeah. Just totally racked him from behind. Yeah, that's a lot of permanent breakage. So one thing that we are going to see here is that Slayers do not surrender. Slayers never, they don't have morale, effectively. So they're going to stay in until they're all dead, which is going to be a thing. But a lot of the rest of the units are broken permanently already, and we're going to wound Ungrim off of the field here. He has gotten in way over his head. This is the thing he's supposed to be doing as a Slayer. I'm gonna fuck up his stats. I'm gonna drain his spirit. Yeah, I don't know how easy it is for you to pick him out in the melee there.
It's not.
I'm gonna withdraw my man. Y'all got this. No, he went down. That's embarrassing. So did the enemy lord, but we lost our lord first, and that is embarrassing.
Arrow boys,
Okay, y'all are doing fine. So the 2 units of Snotling pump wagons I have pursuing their troll hammer torpedo unit because this is a unit they won't be able to rebuild anytime soon. This is one of those advanced starting things. So I'm trying to make sure if we could kill it, that would be fantastic. While the Slayers finish dying slowly. I mean, they're getting it done. I'm not ending the battle until this is finished. I think they're going to get it.
So how do you feel about how that went?
I think it sucks hugely that we lost. Azhag. That's a huge error on my part, bringing him into contact with the Slayer King for too long. I should have backed him up earlier. But overall, having survived this battle is a big deal.
I mean, you went to it assuming you're going to lose, right?
I felt like it was a loss. I definitely did. And obviously the auto-resolver was going to give us a loss. Come on, finish him off. There's like 3 figures left, and they're getting it done slowly. Super fast forward mode. Yeah, run him over. Okay, you got him. There we go. There's the flag gone. All right. A hollow victory. Maybe we should just call it a loss. I mean, we broke the assault. Most of our army is actually still alive.
Yeah.
135 kills for the for the rock lobbers. 117 for that one unit of snot wagon, that pump wagons that broke through the enemy, ran away backwards and then into enemy territory and then regrouped behind them. It's a great strat. Yeah, you can see the losses in their army were unbelievably high because their army was largely Slayers. So we kept about 1/3 of our force. They kept less than 1/10 of theirs. And we did bring down the Slayer King, although we also lost Azhag. So legendary lords cannot die. They are plot armored. They are narratively too important to die. So both of these characters will be wounded and removed from the map for, some number of turns. That really sucks for us because it's just we're losing time to give Azhag XP.
Yeah.
New leaders will be nominated for the armies. And then we'll just have a generic lord who will get replaced by Azhag again when Azhag is feeling better. We were working toward that thing that made Azhag recover super fast, but we haven't actually gotten it yet. It would have been the next skill point.
Gotcha.
He probably got enough XP to get it, and I just kept him in contact with the Slayer King too long. Ungrim Ironfist will fucking kill a character. That is a thing he is good at. He may not survive doing it, but he's gonna do it. So Amabel.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that battle.
That was rad.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If you can promise me a battle every episode,
Can't.
I'm here. I'm here for it. I'm excited. It gives me stuff to talk about, stuff to look at.
Yeah, definitely can't do that.
Well,
so we got a large amount of scrap there, a pretty large amount of gold, which is raw stuff, and then do we want to ransom back their captives for an extra 1,400 money? Do we want to chomp in the hopes of putting ourselves in a position where we can counterattack a little bit more quickly? The only unit that actually went down was Azhag. I'm so embarrassed. I think we're in a position right now where we're trying to develop, but we really could use the money.
okay.
And we're in friendly territory. I think we're going to probably have to focus on the healing, but that's going to do some good for us. So there, what remains of their army breaks off, and here's Vragni Burloxson.
Okay.
So he was in that little area that I was worried he might be in.
I like the terrain they gave you for that battle.
Yeah.
I liked the timing of the reinforcements. I liked that I like the narrative that emerges of, oh, your guys recovered behind enemy lines so that they're able to do a charge in the rear. Like getting that kind of texture from it
And like
is
the sort of
immensely
like the
satisfying.
sort of funny thing that happened there were like my units, our units beat each other to half health. My units, taking those losses, panicked and ran away because they're babies. But because they backed off, they got to rest a little bit. And so
Yeah.
we were able to effectively like cycle new troops a couple of times while the dwarves just kept fighting and eventually tired out. The omens are ill. Something you've done has angered the fucking gods. Yet they are fickle. They may forgive you in time, or more immediate appeasement might be necessary. We could just say, so be it. Plus 20 growth in all provinces.
How'd that work for us last time?
I think this is how it worked for us last time. That's what's happening now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about our control nearly as much as I care about our growth. So be it. Let them stew. Okay, so yeah, we're getting a lord to step in to be a replacement for Ozhag for a while
Rocknock
here.
Bowspike is a very good name.
Hold on, you haven't even seen them all. Tricky Face Smasher, Stitch Up Spider Killer, Krugga.
I mean, it's your
So what I'm actually thinking here is like the type. This unit is going to exist for a little while. They're going to gain some XP, and so when we're thinking about putting together new armies, they're going to have a little bit of an advantage over other lords. So it's like, what is the kind of lord that I want in the long term? And then also each one has a trait, as you can see here, that sometimes affects them and sometimes affects their army. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm kind of into Grognock Foespike the Cunning, who has greater ambush success chance and poisonous attacks. You're allowed to... Deceit is a perfectly acceptable means of attack. You're allowed to be brutally cunning, just in the same way you're allowed to be cunningly brutal.
Is that a reference?
Well, that's the thing. That's Mork and Orc. That's their deal.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think I'm going to take
fair.
Grognock Foespike. Step up.
It is time, my lord. Your reputation has grown to such an extent.
Oh, yeah.
that other mobs flock from miles around to fight under your command. Make the call to war against a rival's capital and claim your first trophy.
So, a greenskin war boss whose faction gains sufficient reputation from their belligerent exploits, and we did just gain a bunch, will be able to make the call to Wog, temporarily gaining additional mobs for each of their armies to help raise or occupy a targeted rival's capital. I mean, I do think this is that moment. Oh, also our ambush was foiled. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think this is the time. Let's fuck them up. We're so injured.
Yeah.
You're not worth it.
So you can see they also had their guy replaced with another Slayer Lord. This is what remains of their army. Obviously, we will feast upon them.
Subjugate us!
Over here, we have a Chaos Dwarf. This is a trade caravan. I don't know that we want to mess with the Chaos Dwarves right now. They're probably better in the long run as somebody who might be friendly. So, okay, when we press this button, your armies will be joined by extra mobs that will help your Wog raise or occupy the target's capital.
The living green tidal wave of destruction crests, ready to sweep over your ill-fated victims. Choose your mark, and a trophy shall await you in their capital to claim once it is raised or occupied.
I mean, it's got to be Karak Kadrin, right?
Yeah.
Dedicate to Mork or Gork. We're not really a missile strength kind of force here. No. All right, we got 20 turns to fuck shit up. So we get additional WOG units to supplement our army. How does this work? Okay, there's some kind of WOG units you can't pull until you've gotten trophies. So we're going to chase these nerds down. Obviously. This should be a completely clean victory here. So this is a little bit annoying, but we are going to probably do this manually.
Yay!
We shouldn't have to load in and out, but if I do it, if I auto-resolve it now, it's going to kill one of our units, and there's no reason, like, that unit should not even be available for death, because I'm going to have that unit stand back because it's so damaged, right? Like, so we're going to have to do this manually so that the game doesn't kill our free units, or our units that are in sort of weakened states. To be clear, what remains here is they have a runic magic specialist. They have a unit of dwarf warriors. This is their most sort of like the Mario of their forces. And then they have a unit of miners whose whole thing is that they are kind of like, they're bad combatants, but they're cheap and they're good against, they're a little better against armor than the basic dwarf warriors. So what's, Amabel, you have a look of
What do you
confusion.
mean by the Mario?
I mean, like the Ryu, you know, like the fucking, like, this is the normal one. Whenever you play one of those Nintendo sports games, Mario's stats are always the middleist.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's always like fives and everything. I don't know. That might not be true anymore. It's been a while, but it was true back in the day when I was playing Mario sports games on my GameCube.
Kind of like Mario
roughly,
2, where
roughly
Mario's
100.
in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, roughly 100 years ago when I was playing video games on my GameCube. We do have the WOG units coming in, and you see they come in a little faster than normal reinforcements. I will also note that one of our reinforcement units is a fucking Arachnarok spider. You see that, right, most one? That's a very serious. That's a very serious fellow. That's a serious spider on serious Earth. I'm gonna move the goblins back a little bit. Everybody's gonna stand behind the thing here, and we're not gonna offer the enemy any free kills. Okay, let's go. It's also worth noting that our WOG has been replaced with a bigger and better version of WOG for the duration of the map WOG. Remember that what's his name? Azhag has a special version for his army, but since we're no longer Azhag's army, we got it replaced with the little one, which then got replaced with the big one because of the thing. Anyway, catapults. Let's see some rock lobbing. All right, they did not manage to dodge them entirely. There's a button. I don't remember what it is. Let me. Ah ha ha ha!
All right.
There's a way to do this. Okay, when you shoot one yourself, you get the projectile cam, which is neat. Apparently, I do not understand how to range with this thing. Where are y'all aiming? So like up here? I see how to read it. Wait, that seems like really low. Are we sure? I'm not reading this thing correctly. I'm gonna step out of the catapult because I'm sure I'm dramatically reducing its effectiveness. Okay, good solid hit there. These guys have no ranged weapons, so if you're wondering why I'm letting it get to this point before moving the troops in, that's why. Alright, you lot, fuck them up.
something I really appreciate about this kind of implementation. There's something when you're talking about military games, battle games, you can have either the geometry of it, the zoomed out thing, the movement of the troops that's very clear and readable, or you can have the chaos of it.
Yeah.
And I like the way that this lets you zoom back and forth between those two scales
Okay. Yeah.
because it gives you a fuller sense of the picture. You know, there's a thing Stanley Kubrick said when he was working on his Napoleon film that he never actually made, was that Napoleonic battles are it is a lot like two eagles flying in the sky, and you get this beautiful movement. But it turns out the two of them are devouring a dove, and it's a difficulty to both capture the movement, the beauty of the thing, and also the ugliness. And in a way, you know, obviously it's all ugly because it's war and it's terrible, and war is bad. That's my hot take.
Okay.
But
I've heard mention of this idea before.
but getting the sweep of the thing, getting like the shapes, the formations, like it's cool. I don't know. It's neat that it does that. I'm really quite smitten with the way the combat stuff works here. Yeah, I know it can't be you fight every battle manually. I understand that, and like this is not a particularly interesting battle to fight compared to the previous one. But I do like this is the part that's really grabbing me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry, stop shooting.
This thing's heavy.
And while the building and research stuff seems simpler than the 4X, you know, necessarily, it's not. It doesn't feel rudimentary. It feels like you're still making like decisions that have some weight to it.
Yeah, there are places certainly. So we're just beating up on this one, just the Lord, who is the only troop remaining.
All right.
The trolls and our own Lord are just gonna. Oh, got hit in the back by a troll. These things happen. These reinforcements are not gonna get here. I wanted to show you the cool spider, but whatever. We can withdraw the Lord and let the trolls finish the job here, I think. I wanted to keep the poison on him. Okay. A decisive victory. One more for the Warg. Alright, so no dead units. Damage is fine. Just didn't want to lose anybody. I do think we're probably going to spend another turn in friendly territory before we go marching.
You got to recover.
We got to recover. But I did want to make sure that this army was fully destroyed. Plus, I think we get, you know, everybody gets angrier. You see the Rock Lobber has moved up to XP rank 4. It's 3 bronze chevrons, then 3 silver chevrons, and eventually 3 gold chevrons. So that's good. Every level it gets, it gains more accuracy, which is obviously tremendously important.
Yeah. They need that.
I definitely did shoot our war boss with the catapult at least once during this battle, because I did not turn them around once they got to the part where it was just the enemy lord. That's fine. Listen, an orc war boss can eat a catapult shot or 2. It's fine. Knock his teeth out, and then he'll pick them up and be like, hey, I'm rich.
Right, because their teeth are their money.
Yeah, because they
You know.
use the teeth are their money, and so are the worms.
Yeah. Yeah, pull those teeth up, but not out.
No, out. Up seems like a wildly sadistic thing to do. I'm not sure if that's brutally cunning or cunningly brutal, but it made my face hurt just to think of it. So yeah,
You're welcome.
this is on my solid state, by the way. We're just it's doing its best.
What's the solid state? You explained this to me when we built my
Yep,
computer.
we're not doing it.
I forgot.
So you can see with the smaller number of captives, we get much less effective post-battle options here. I think we'll just take a little bit of eat captives. We did make a bunch more money by finishing the army off, though. Got a troll herder for Grognok. Man, I cried so hard the first time I read troll herder for Grognok.
I don't even understand that joke.
What a sad story. You know, he thought he was. Somehow it's an obvious Flowers for Algernon reference in my head, but I couldn't tell you exactly like what the how I get there. So we could move forward.
Don't think so.
We can march forward. We can. Yeah, we can push forward and just go into raiding party mode and do our hiring at the border.
Okay.
So that we're in a single movement distance of Gnashrak's lair. But I'm not
Okay.
sure that we survive if Ragni Burluxon
I will
runs
not
out here and
say
attacks
my
us.
plan.
It might actually be pretty bad. But I guess we can see his movement range is there. Like, if I just step to here. And we go into raid mode, in camp mode, and we pull a unit of something, a unit of biggins, probably. We have enough money. I could hire some more. So one thing we could do is we could collapse some of our existing units to make room, and thus end up with a smaller number of better healed units. Like, we don't really need. What are we looking at here? 37 plus. Like, if I merge these two, and then also merge like the two most damaged units of boys, and we just pull 3 fresh units of biggins. I think over the turn, I think the mobs are flocking to this army, so I think we'll get more WOG units as well, and then we'll push next turn.
Okay.
I think that could be the plan.
Green flows.
And here's Masha.
Make Masha do something.
No. I'm going to run Masha over to here,
Special.
and we're going to have Masha do stuff in this area where the armies are. So Masha will be taking action soon, but next turn. I'm also going to, I think, interrupt our current research. We'll get pointy tusks, but I want to spend a turn getting spoils of war and unlocking some of the scrap upgrades for our orc units. Okay, and then we have a bunch of money. Let's definitely get access to black orcs. I think that is for sure the move. All right, let's see what Vragni Burluxon does. Now, presumably, they're gonna start mustering a new army to replace the lost army pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
We need to commit some horrible violence before that army has a chance to grow.
Right.
which is the only reason I'm pushing forward before healing up at all, is because like we have our moment now. It's going to take
Yeah, you
time
gotta-
for them to muster.
You know, Frederick Prussia, Frederick
Yeah,
II
here
of
he
Prussia,
comes.
often found himself in situations where he was vastly outnumbered by multiple armies, and the thing was to strike them before they could get stronger,
Yeah.
even if he was weak. And I think that's the thing you should do.
Well, okay, but for certain definitions, right? Like you have to be able to
Well-
survive the battle.
Before they get stronger. Yeah. Listen to
let's-
that sad Prussian gay boy.
Striking a stronger army while you are weak in a way that causes you to be annihilated is counterproductive. All right. A cloaked stranger from the mist-shrouded land of Albion approaches with a request. He is of sinister aspect, but assures you that his intentions are good. I can grant his request. The promises of riches and power are beguiling, and the cost is so little. This may well be a worthy investment and a chance to scry the hidden land of Albion. It's a chaos guy, and he's going to fuck up our shit with chaos corruption. For 3 turns plus 10 corruption. That's really not that bad, honestly. Or we can refuse this creature. Send this dark emissary on his way. There is nothing in Albion for us. Let some other pool pay for the... No. I want the 3,000 money. Request granted.
Has amassed.
Thanks.
Every army under your command is now accompanied.
No, I know. Okay, we got our technology. Yep. Okay, we got a couple more units here. It's not amazing, but it's something. We also got a level up for our lord, and I mean, you know how I feel about Realm Archer. So, we have a bunch of very badly damaged orcs, some less damaged orcs, and then also a reinforcement force that's like half garbage goblin units, but half impressive spider units, including a lava Arachnarok spider, which is a thing I didn't even know. I'd never seen that before. So
That's pretty good.
So I'm very curious about that one. We're gonna develop some infrastructure back at home, and I think, like, I don't
Well,
think
what's
our
Masha gonna do?
I don't think our situation's getting any better here. Masha's movement is not going to have any effect on the battle,
Okay.
so I'm gonna maybe let Masha wait until afterward. I mean, I think we gotta.
Gotta.
I don't think our situation's getting better. He agrees. This was a good plan. And so now we can pursue him, and he's no longer in his encampment stance, so he's actually weaker than he was a moment ago. That retreat was a really bad plan, because you only retreat once per turn. So we could take an auto-resolve victory here and lose a single unit. His army is entirely miners and slayer pirates. That's so fucked up. What a force. The thing is, what the auto-resolver doesn't show us is how much damage it will do to the rest of my units. I kind of think I want to take this manually.
Yay!
Because I want to try to
You are so sweet to me.
I want to try to minimize casualties where we can. Because we got to be in good shape for the continued push. So this terrain's a lot less advantageous to us.
Yeah. And you're the attacker in this case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we're still going to play defensively. Because what we want is to let our reinforcements catch up.
Right.
So we're going to play back corner and let them come to us. And they have essentially no ranged weapons. Actually, they have no ranged weapons.
Okay.
Oh no, that's not true. Sorry, right. I forget. This Slayer pirate unit was added after I played last, I think. They've been adding units to the game continuously for like close to a decade. So I'm not used to these yet, but yeah, these are proper ranged units. And they're actually very annoying ranged units. We don't really have a lot of shields in this army anymore. I just merged a lot of our shields in. So we can, this is their optimal reinforcement point. We can move the reinforcement point around, but the further we move it from here, the longer it's going to take for them to show up. And I actually think this spot's okay.
Oh, okay. That's neat.
You're a big fan of this game.
No, I mean, that remind, like, so, like, they were going to reinforce there, but if it's going to be delayed, then probably you sent a message like reinforce here instead, and maybe the message takes a while to get there, maybe they got a counter march. Like, that. Gosh. I mean, you know that the Battle of Shiloh, which was a 2-day battle.
I don't. I'm sorry.
The 2-day battle, and some of the reinforcements arrived quite late, so it was a very poor day for the Union on the first day, because there was some confusion as to where the reinforcements were supposed to arrive.
Yeah.
Reinforcements led by the guy who wrote the novel Ben-Hur.
Okay.
That's a fun fact.
So I'm starting kind of everything back here. Is my plan?
Yeah.
With, in particular, my war boss and my healthy units of biggins concealed in the forest.
Yes. No, I love that. I love that because then they come in and like and then
they're gonna push the catapult because they want these catapults down. The catapults are doing all of the work. And
getting to do like actual tactics in deployment. This is wild. Why are not Forest games? Why don't they let you do this?
Because like this is in order for this to be the thing, this has to be the whole thing, right? There's hardly any game outside of this. Also, this is a very complicated and difficult thing to develop. This is this company's entire play. Oh, you simple-minded idiots. Are you waiting? They think we're on the clock. Okay, we're going to put our feet up until our reinforcements get here. And then we'll creep the catapults forward and start just picking at them until they realize that they have to come to us because we have catapults. But I'm not doing shit until the spider shows up.
I understand what you're saying because this is, I don't know about all the technical stuff, but it feels very technically impressive.
Yeah, it's a big deal. This is not a trivial thing to develop, for sure.
But I feel like if you have a spectrum where there's this on one end and the bullshit they get up to in Civ on the other end, you can kind of move the needle a little closer to this.
Well, and I think that's kind of where we're going to spend a lot of our time in the next couple of sort of classes of 4X school.
Rad. Cool.
As we play the games that are more interested in the combat stuff. So we're AFK until minute 32. Spiders is going to show up, and then we're going to do stuff. Okay, welcome, friends. So we need to creep the catapults forward. I hate the snowy battlefields because it's so hard to see the green lines on them. But you can see we need to move the catapults forward approximately that much. So I'm going to move them to like here, and we'll see about that. And let's talk about the new guys. These goblins, spear infantry, are gonna advance into the forest and disappear, and we'll see what the AI thinks of that. Have a unit of orc boys do kind of the same. And then we have 2 additional units of spider cavalry, which is fun. And we have the creature. So scale-wise, keep in mind, those are orcs over there. This is a lava arachnarok spider with a sort of a platform built on its back covered in goblins with poisonous weapons. The lava arachnarok spider has 120 armor, 10,000 HP. Its attacks are poisonous. They shoot flaming arrows off of it. It hits for 396 armor piercing damage with each bite. It is going to do things. It has a thermal thorax.
I
It
mean,
is,
this.
it is just pulsing damage to lava damage to enemies that it's in contact with. It has the Arachneruption ability, which bombards the area around the caster with lava.
This is like a tank.
It is like a nightmare massive spider monster tank. That said, gunfire is largely armor piercing. So, we must be a little cautious with our massive spider monster until we can get engagement on those pirates.
Right.
So let's just be smart about that. Is this thing... Okay, speed and combat penalties caused by terrain are ignored by this unit, but it doesn't have... It specifically does not have the woodsman bonus, I think. So I want it to be away from the trees. Big units move slow through the forest, you know? It's tough. It's tough stuff. Did I move us forward enough? I did not. Try it again, like here-ish.
Here we go. Whatever you say.
Try to keep the army apace.
Ready for us, grabbing.
Damn it. It's really hard to because there's no way to like move the ranging indicators. It's actually very annoying to do this process to try to figure out like exactly where is the
Yeah.
edge.
Roll, crash.
But again, we have an hour. We have until this clock says an hour. Are they running? They appear to have rearranged their army. All right. All right. That's very funny.
Come on, move.
Because they know it's annoying for me to rearrange my army. So basically they're just pissing me off. I'm gonna move the spider riders up here, actually. Okay. Should be in firing range now. Thing is, I don't want to give this thing an actual direct attack order if I don't have to, because I don't want it to pursue a particular unit. And I have definitely had some weird AI issues where like they decide to they fixate and then somebody runs sideways and all of a sudden your siege crew is turning the engines instead of firing. But it does look like they're not attacking without a specific order. Let's just give them a shot. Give them an order to shoot here. Okay. Then toggle guard mode, so no chase. Halt. Fire at will. I can also tell them to target a specific like spot on the ground. I don't know. Maybe stay. I guess maybe stay on them. Yeah, maybe these guys are a better shot because they're not in the the divot there,
Yeah.
and there's still units to every side of them. Nice, good shot. The funny thing is they're trying to dodge by moving out of the spot that they're in, but they don't understand that the spot they're in is probably one of the safest places on the battlefield. I wonder how much of this they're going to actually stand there and take. Okay, there they go. They finally did the math. They were like, wait a second. All right, so we don't want the big spider to have to charge through the forest, ideally. We got it in a good side charge position. We still have the units camouflaged in the forest. There you go. Fire at these guys for a little bit. Like I said, the spot that we're supposed to be shooting at, probably one of the safest places to be. I kind of can't believe you don't usually see armies do this much waiting. Good lord,
Yeah.
you guys are bad shots.
And obviously this is like an AI fluke and not like a. It's not model like
It's not a
there
strat.
are battles.
Yeah.
There like the Battle of the Alma.
Uh-huh.
The commander of the British forces, Lord Raglan, just disappeared. He actually went behind enemy lines to get a better view of the battle, and just did not leave orders for anyone. So they just kind of sat around for a couple hours, getting shelled.
Okay, that's fun.
And there were people, his subordinates, who refused to let their men go forward because they don't have orders from Raglan because they're a bunch of British mucky mucks. And it wasn't until some of the British troops on their own volition just disregarded orders and actually went and attacked. And attacked not by charging. They were having them do a lot of charges up these steep cliffs. Which that's not usually a good idea.
Yeah.
But they discovered actually that the rifles they had outranged the enemy artillery. No one had told them that when they gave them these new rifles.
Okay.
And that's how the British did at the Battle of the Alma. Their French allies knew all this stuff and were much better led, and did a much better job on their end of the thing. But that's the thing that can happen. Is just I don't think they're trying to model that. I think it's just the computer being kind of funky. But
Yeah.
I feel like we tend to ascribe a lot more competence to military commanders in games than they have in real life, and so
I mean, people just do that with computers in general. People are very eager
Yeah.
to jump to the conclusion that it's thinking or something, when it's just a
Yeah.
computer. It's just a computer not knowing how to fold towels, as they say.
Yeah, I kind of like that they just kind of stood there and were kind of dummies, and they kept moving back and forth, and like even if it's not intentional, it does give a kind of a juice to it.
Yeah.
And
Well, having the enemy behave somewhat unpredictably has value,
much like the wrestling men in that wrestling game.
I should never have told you about Wrestling Empire. Look at these guys trying to execute a flank here. All right, so I'm advancing some of the troops with the aim of just locking up the guns, because I don't want the guns getting in range of the catapults, obviously. So we're advancing some of the lads. The lads with shields, in particular, are getting advanced here. While the rest of us, you probably don't need to come up just yet. While the big ends are coming in behind, and I'm going to try to do a push through here. But I want the gunfire focused on the people with the shields. Both because they have shields and will take less gunfire, and also because they're less important to winning the battle. I hate to be like this, but hopefully this will work. Hopefully. Also, my lord is under attack, and I'm not sure how. He definitely did take some damage there. But he should be, first of all, hidden. And secondly, they might be doing some kind of rune magic or something. I don't know. It's definitely weird. All right, go. I'm also trying to make sure this this guy over here with the flank, we're gonna super counter flank him. All right, the time has come for the charging. So the goblin spider creatures are a lot better at moving through the forest. They have smaller collision boxes, and so they don't hit trees as much, which is, you know, pretty straightforward. So they have Joseph Redmayne, the Dragon Slayer. That's a pretty cool guy. Probably don't want to put a lot of large creatures on him. So let's maybe move the trolls to this side of the battlefield. Yeah, and we'll just get our flank on. We'll get a wrap around here. We'll see what we can do.
Run, boys!
Your hidden units are revealed.
It's true.
Your lord is under attack.
Also true. Go, spider, go! Arrgh. Big wog for everybody. Okay, so. So they're giving chase to my spiders for some reason. I think this is terrible play on their part.
Oh, yeah.
They've just made some errors here, and I think that's wonderful. They're allowed to do that. All right, Biggins, come forward. Biggins, come forward. Let's start charging people. Yeah. You lot, try to squeeze through here as best you can. Let's see what we can get behind. This unit of Biggins, there may be... Yeah, come here too. Okay, but Big Spider in particular. Let's ruin some people's day. I guess actually, do I want to just have the big? You know what? Look at the density of the dwarves here.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe we just Big Spider right here.
Yeah, it's just.
I was gonna go get those guys who are shooting their guns. Let's see about this. Arachne eruption. Lava for everyone. Sorry, goblins. You are part of everyone.
Don't watch ya! Don't watch ya! Let's fight! Rule boss!
Okay. Good stuff's happening. We're getting some good rear charging going on here. I'm not even watching some of the fronts of the battle because I am sure they're going well, which is maybe not like a great strategy, because what if they aren't?
Not the best.
Here, let's collapse on these Slayer pirates. Charge those miners. Spiders are doing spider stuff. Yeah, there's not a lot of dwarves over here anymore. Let's bring the spider across this side. Pump wagons doing a pretty admirable job of pump wagoning. You guys shoot their boss. You guys shoot into this mass of dudes. You guys shoot at, geez, I don't know, the Dragon Slayer, I guess?
Cover your actions in Robbie blood!
Yep, so that's all happening. Massive, there's a lesson here about being close to the spider that unfortunately none of these dwarves are going to be able to relay to their kin. It does seem like we are having some problems on this side of the battlefield with goblins and orc boys not standing up to the orc lord. I find this unacceptable. Oh, this unit of snot wagons probably just needs to run. Snotling wagons needs to just run. Somebody's got to deal with. We got like a healthy that unit of pirates that was chasing everybody. They have not been part of the battle yet, and so are still pretty healthy.
Ooh.
What we need is a good charge on them. I don't know, like, the trolls are probably not the right unit for this. I'm gonna have these 2 units of boys. Try to turn around and grab them. The thing about the trolls is they're like big and easy to shoot. All right, we will bring our lord over here along with the spider. Okay, I do believe we're seeing a surrender cascade here. Which means, of course, that now we just need to focus on the Slayer units and actually kill them all. It's pretty hard to run away from the giant spider. Poor guy. Alright, their lord is surrendered. The pump wagons survived, somehow. But their lord has well and truly given up. We don't need to keep hammering on him. Let's get our lord around here. Just this last unit of Slayers is really all we're looking at. Alright, go get him.
Come, Snorri, get in there! You fight like Elder!
Alright. This shouldn't take very long. Fire projectiles into the back of the unit, and you know how this goes.
Yeah.
Chop, 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 chop. All right, I like that spider.
Yeah.
That's a good spider.
You don't usually like spiders.
I disagree with that.
Yeah?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I thought you didn't like spiders.
What? Whence? What the?
I mean, you don't like insects generally.
I don't like stinging insects. You remember?
Oh,
Amabel,
you're right.
Amabel, for whom
You're right.
was Spider Town a reward?
For a good girl.
That's correct. Everybody wants to go to
sorry,
Spider Town. That's where the spiders are at.
You know, my brain's not so great because I was dazzled by your military excellence.
Yeah, that was kind of a shitty. I mean, we didn't lose that many people. There was a real threat of like very serious harm, right? When the enemy has that many guns, and
Yeah.
you have this few ranged weapons, there was a real threat there, and I think we managed to take a lot of our losses in the Goblin Brigade. That was the Wog Army goblins, which was the intent. Is trying to focus the losses on the units that are mechanically denoted as expendable. Because you know what? I agree. They seem pretty expendable to me. So, having now defeated 2 full armies of Karak Kadrin troops, I believe we have broken their military. Which is not to say that we will not have any more real battles ahead of us, but that was the majority of their strength. And we're just going to keep drawing new units to the WOG. This is the thing about the WOG that's horrifying, is it's not like the orcs come in and they outsmart you with stellar tactics. They approach in this tide, this great green tide, and you do everything in your power, and you kill, 1,000 of them per battle, and it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's just more. Somehow there's just more all the time. I'm going to take all the replenishment here. Joseph Redmayne was killed in battle. Ragnarly Burlockson was killed in battle. Oh no. And look at this. Man is putting it together. Now he is not a long-term hold. I wonder if we do want a blue rank with him. It might be better to like buff up the troops in the short term.
Okay.
You know? Or maybe even his own skills. Let's go for the troops. So, this first thing here gives 75 bonus XP every turn to all the units in his army. Just like level people up slowly over time. It increases the amount of leadership generated by his aura. And then he has a bunch of 3-point skills that basically like are, there's one skill for like each type of thing in your army. You know, like this is the general orc infantry skill. This is the general spot. This is the goblin cavalry skill.
Okay.
This is the big monster skill. Your spiders and your giants and your trolls. This is the siege weapon skill. And then once you have spent 4 points, 6 points in that box, so enough to cap out 2 skills, you can get an ability, which boosts everybody's leadership. It's called, hey, get back here. The boss ain't ready to run, and so expects the boys to stay put too. You get back over there. So that's useful. I think it's just like the boys, just weapon strength up for orc infantry units. Smash them, smash them, smash them. And then we go raiding camp stance, because it doesn't cost any movement to enter raiding camp stance. Some might say it's our natural way of being. And we're replenishing now. We could even do recruitment, but if we did recruitment, it would be through the global pool. It would require multiple turns, and so it would require the army to stay still, which I do not intend to do. And our WOG forces are not replenishing, but we are going to get more units in the army next turn. So I'm going to go over here and steal technology from Gnashrak's Lair. Hey, a success. I saw you laugh. I saw you prepare.
I was crossing my fingers.
I am a rune lord, not some smith.
And I was lit down.
I see dead things.
So, I think so. Once again, we can focus on map stuff, or we can focus on combat magic. You know what? Let's get him a sort of a smattering of combat magic. This guy can be the personal spellcaster to Grognok Foespike. And then when Aztec comes back, he can, you know, we'll reconfigure things a little.
Okay.
All right, we're working on pointy tusks. We now have the ability to push some scrap upgrades. We have 47 scrap in total, so not a lot, but you can see we could start buying upgrades to our critical units. Out of curiosity, ooh, missile explosion radius up, bigger rocks is pretty fun. But it looks like there's a salvaged artillery upgrade that cuts down the reload time of the catapults, and it's only 60 scrap. So let's focus on that. Also notice the catapults did end up taking a lot of damage during that battle, and in fact, only one catapult survived. So this unit is not good for siege for a while. Fortunately, like I said, I think we've broken the Dwarven military. So I believe we are on our way, Amabel.
Okay.
And hopefully we will not need them again. That said, Kadrin is a proper dwarf stronghold. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So that's like the Rune Lord tried to do an underway move past us. Are you kidding me? If I want to kill this guy, I have to manual battle so that I don't lose my. You know what? I'm going to take the auto resolve, and that's just going to be the slot that the caster stands in. But like that's a really great example of like the way that the having to load in and out of the battles is super annoying, because like that was going to be another like couple minutes of loading time all told, so that we got the correct the outcome that we obviously should get for that battle. And that's a place where I find the auto resolving, like the fact that it's doing this like weird math behind the scenes, and it has nothing to do with what a battle would actually look like, to be intensely frustrating.
Yeah.
Over the course of a campaign, it really adds up, you know? Alright. Well, we killed another one of their lords. We're going to have Grognok Faux Spike run up here and grab Gnashrak's Lair. I'm going to encircle it to give Masha a second to jump into the army before the battle happens.
Into motion.
Also, I guess we should probably spend the skill point that we have here. Okay, and now let's go ahead and take our auto-resolve victory, which thankfully will not kill anybody. You can see we got, some more goblins and stuff in our army here. We're going to take the auto-resolve victory. We're going to occupy, because this time I think we're actually taking the area. And also, this way, our army gets to sit in a friendly settlement for a turn. So we desperately need to heal.
Yeah.
All right, so casters generally start with a spell. And you spend the first point of your spell line giving yourself the ability to overcast that spell. This is a thing you can do with most spells. Overcasting a spell is spending more resources on it to get an improved like functionality, but there's a chance of miscasting, and we'll talk a little more about that like in a battle where it matters. But it's going to be the pattern for these spell skills in general, that the first point gives you the ability to cast it. The second point like lowers the cooldown a little bit and gives you the ability to overcast it. And then the third point is like mastery. It lowers the cost, it reduces the miscast chance, it just generally makes it better in every way. In addition, each sort of school of magic has a passive ability that triggers that you can learn, that triggers whenever you cast. In this one, the big wah, when you cast for 25 seconds, it increases the rate at which the winds of magic recharge. So more cast for more casting. But do we want that when we could learn Brain Bursta?
That's pretty.
What about the Fists of Gork? Big attack and defense bonus for our friends. Or Headbutt. It's like a telekinetic headbutt, like a breath weapon but it's made of headbutts. I'm gonna take Brain Bursta. I like a bursted brain. I have one, so I figure so should everybody else. We don't really have the ability to take advantage of, because like we could do that thing again where we collapse units and then do a little recruitment. I guess that makes sense. Like, let's collapse these units of boys. Spear boys, and then just get a new fresh unit of each in here. And our Wog army is up to 9 units, and we're headed for Karak Kadrin. And back home, we have like time and money a little bit now. We're still waiting for most of our big improvements to occur. Let's go ahead and buy the boss pole. A boss pole is a material reminder of how powerful a war boss has become. It's a mark of great power. So this will keep bringing in the recruits. 18 turns left to take care of Kadrin. Amabel?
Yeah.
I think we might get it. I think there's
You can do it,
there's a
yeah.
chance we can cross this much territory in that time. And our Wog army is going to continue building up to some extent. I don't know exactly how big. I don't know if it will go to 20 units.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's certainly some things you have to you have to get a trophy before you have to be like a sort of a renowned boss of murder before the good orcs will come and follow
Yeah.
you. So you can see they have a couple of map agents running around the area. They might try to interfere with us, but we don't see another army. They could be raising a new army in Kadrin proper. I wouldn't be totally shocked if that's the case. But if so, it hasn't existed for more than like 2 turns, right? So we're in good position to just like push and push. I don't know what the garrison of Kadrin looks like, and Kadrin is a major settlement, and well, we'll talk about it in a second here. You'll see when we get closer to it. Theoretically, some stuff is happening outside of the mountains. At this moment, we just could not possibly care. But this was the thing we needed to break the stalemate. We just needed a good wog. Okay, big money. A talisman of preservation, which is actually a very nice piece of gear. Ward save is just pure damage reduction. A war boss, a character running around with 16% ward save just takes 16% less damage from everything. And also, a weapon with an augment ability, +8 melee attack in the area around the carrier. Grognok could use a nice weapon. I'm not going to give him that talisman of preservation. That thing's a little too powerful. I'm going to save that for Azhag. But he does have a luck stone, which is similar but worse. Oh, he should probably also have these glimmering scales. Remember that we didn't want to give to Azhag, which reduces the melee attack of all enemies within 35 meters because it's a magic. It's in your eyes. Oh no, the light's in your eyes because of magic. So let's get our march on. Where is our territory line here? Okay, it's over there. So we are at full. We're fully inside of our own territory. Yeah, they are recruiting. Okay, no big deal. No big deal. No surprise. We're gonna continue taking healing here, and at this range, we can see a little bit of Kadrin. So we can see that they have a smithy and the home of the Slayer cult, the Slayer Shrine of Kadrin, and just the basic building. Okay. That's all real good news for us, actually. So, a thing that you got to watch out for when you're on the march is this little indication at the top of the city bar, this little like crenellated bit. That indicates that the city has proper walls. We've not yet had a battle for a settlement that was actually defended. Like, in that sort of static, built-up defenses kind of way.
Right.
We've auto-resolved all the settlement battles, and you can see, like, there's a thing. The thing, you're attacking a settlement in those, but it's very different from attacking a fortress. So, Kadrin is going to be complicated because we're going to have to do, like, siege.
Now's the time.
Cool.
However, that's not a right this second problem. I'm just going to keep spending money on infrastructure, keep researching things, just get to trolling. This raises the healing cap. Okay, units that have regeneration, and actually, all units can only receive a certain amount of healing in each battle. To prevent you from just like going infinite on troops with regeneration or some kind of like healing scheme or whatever. You can only receive so many hit points during a battle. This skill is raising that amount by 10% for all of the trolls under our command, which is kind of neat. Okay. So my plan here is to run us right up to the walls of Karak Kadrin, and then next episode can be the siege of Karak
Right.
Kadrin, because obviously it's gonna take a second. So I want you to know that I recognize that we're 90 minutes into this episode, but I'm putting us in place for the thing to happen.
Okay. I figure it's gonna end it. It's gonna be ending any moment now, which is why I haven't gone to get my onion again yet. So I'm.
This is a bizarre euphemism. Don't you do it! Don't you touch me!
Trying to be a classy lady.
I don't know what he would do. I don't know what his move, what that hero can do, but I don't like it. Wow, Rungni Morgrimson, all of a sudden, look at how many fucking units are in that army. What are you doing over there, buddy? I mean, we have the WOG, so it's not a big deal. It's just like it's a lot of dudes. So, Amabel, what do you think about the WOG? What do you think about this whole orc thing that's going on?
Interesting.
I mean, that's neat, and it gives them a distinct mechanical identity besides just the smaller mechanical identity of the types of units. You also have this larger idea mechanical identity, and I'm going to assume you have other things like that for some of the other factions.
Oh yeah, everybody's got their own rules and stuff. It's a whole big complicated thing.
Yeah, that's neat.
I'm going to deny these vampires a non-aggression pact. The guys with the diamond mine want a safe person to put their back up against, and I definitely still intend to take their gemstone mines. So we're gonna say no to that. You could, of course, just make a pact with the intent to break it, but I do want to be able to make friends with some people. I want to be at least a little bit trustworthy.
Yeah.
All right, Azhag the Slaughterer has returned. A vile disease birthed by Grandfather Nurgle or one of his foul minions is sweeping across the population. -10 growth in Gnashrak's lair specifically. I don't really care about that. Grognok Foespike leveled up enough to get himself a war boar. A stubborn and vicious animal. An extremely tough beast that is notoriously bad-tempered, loudly flatulent, unpredictable, and wholly dangerous. Oh, we don't get to see him on it right now. So we're going to grab the last point of Du Bois here. He is riding it, right? Yeah, okay, he's on it. You can kind of see it here in his model, but it's obstructed by a lot of trees. Okay, our WOG army has grown considerably. We still only have one massive, terrifying spider, but there's a lot of good stuff going on here. Okay, we're not going to be able to get in there until next turn. So, I mean, he is recruiting quickly. He's got 10 units already. So Karak Kadrin's garrison has 13 units in it. Quarrelers, a lot of dwarven warriors. Longbeards are like the veteran dwarf units. You can see they're pretty tough. 100 armor, 48 melee defense. They don't do a lot of damage, but they're just fucking hard. They're just tough dudes. Over here, Karak Raziak could absorb a bunch of resources, but I think we're probably not going to bother with that because next turn, Karak Ungor is going to be finished upgrading, and we're going to want to immediately upgrade the gold mine and stuff. So I think we're good on that. Let's run one more sequence of enemy turns here before we attach, so that we are on the turn where we can attach ourselves to Karak Kadrin, and we'll see what's up. This is going to be kind of like the battle for this faction, because although they have 3 settlements in total, I believe this is their only major settlement. I think the other 2 they have are a minor part of some other province, and so without a major settlement, they'll really struggle to be able to draft decent troops or even make a fair amount of money. Oh no, okay, Ground Peak they do have another major. Okay, so they won't be out. it will still be a problem because dwarves are never not a problem, Amabel. Good lord.
Gotcha.
Good lord. Gork is the best. This is our sort of our religious litany. The challengers of Khorne have declared war on us. Yeah, all right. All right, so how familiar are you with Khorne? This Khorne. Before you get clever about it.
I'm not.
Yeah, I know. I tried to talk to you about Freak on a Leash the other day, and you were like, what are you... No, look, it's me. I'm the one doing the bit. So Khorne, Khorne, is one of the Chaos Gods, one of the 4 major Chaos Gods. Khorne, Slaanesh, Tzeentch, and Nurgle.
Mm-hmm.
You have been very, just like, uninterested in what's going on in the world around you. People are like, Grandfather Nurgle did this, and you don't care who that is. You don't know, and you don't care. You had no questions.
No,
Nothing to
Nurgle.
say.
No, I killed a beast of Nurgle once.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
I know some Nurgle, and
Okay.
Slaanesh is the horny one.
Slaanesh is the horny one. Slaanesh's thing is sort of like it's like a little Hellraiser. Slaanesh is like a god of sensation.
Okay.
And so, you know, it goes in all those directions. Khorne is the god of battle and bloodshed and war. Skulls for the skull, blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne. Perhaps you have heard.
Okay. Yes, I have.
The blood
you
god.
have said that after exiting the bathroom several times, so I wasn't quite sure.
Amabel, how dare you? The blood. First of all, not several times. Secondly, the blood god. Khorne is the blood god. How did this army go from 10 units to 19 units? Ungrim Ironfist just openly cheating. What an asshole. Bad news, buddy. You've been replaced. Ashag's back. Which means that Masha is no longer, like, totally ideal. Masha's... You know what? Masha's still here. Masha still has Brain Bursta. That's interesting. Okay, so Ungrim Ironfist suddenly being in control of an army that's twice as large as it was last turn is definitely adding complication. We have continued to accumulate WOG units, and we are now at 15 units. And so there's a way to measure this where we have 35 units, but a lot of these units are goblins and they don't count. Whereas he is at 19 plus 13 for his like defenses, and these are all real units who actually count, and I'm very annoyed. How's my catapult unit doing? Okay, we're back up to 3 actual catapults. We managed to rebuild as we replenish. We managed to rebuild a few of the catapults. But yeah, this definitely this complicates things a little bit. Their army multiplying like that. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is the turn where that thing happens. So, I'm going to commit, upgrade to the gold mine, upgrade to the money-making building. That's all of the money we have for the turn, but, you know, it'll be pretty good. And we got upgrades finishing all over the place. The Northern World's Edge Mountain is becoming a proper stronghold of terrifying orc business. And this is where we're going to call it, but when y'all come back next time, it's the battle for I want to say it's the battle for this faction's survival, but it's probably not. Like, if we take this from them, they're still like in the game. It's still real. Unfortunately, I want things to be climactic. I want to be done with them.
Yeah.
But that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. This is just the thing about dwarves. They hang on, man. They survive. Unfortunately, frustratingly, beyond all reason, they survive. When you come back next time, the Siege of Karak Kadrin. And we'll see you then.